Hey, I'm Geoff Calkins. I'm here with Ron Tillery. I'm the columnist at the Commercial Appeal. He is the only beat writer the Memphis Grizzlies have ever known. So, Ron, did it turn out okay for the Grizzlies as the 5 seed facing Portland?
I think, it's best case scenario when you consider them losing the division and the 2nd seed. You go up against a Portland team that's really injured, and you have home court advantage. So, in that regard, yes, it turned out as best as it could.
Do you expect the injury thing? Obviously, both teams are banged up. You know what Mike has been dealing with.
Sure.
Is he going to be hobbled till the end of the year? And is Tony going to be hobbled to the end of the year? Or with this break, are we going to see fully restored, healthy Tony and Mike?
Yeah, I don't think you can count on that because there's not enough time for these guys to get healthy. I mean, let's start with Tony. Tony is an older player at 33, and he's dealing with a hamstring, which is tricky enough for younger guys. Mike has had everything imaginable. I mean, you're talking about the wrist, we're talking about both ankles, we're talking about the neck, the back. He's had a cut over each eye and a busted lip. And now he's dealing with a foot injury that he says makes him feel like he's walking on a golf ball every time he takes a step. So it's not going to heal, in a couple of days. So yes, absolutely, they're going to be dealing with injuries. And then, I know it sounds good to say, look, you're dealing with a banged up Portland team, but they got Damian Lillard, they've got an all-star LaMarcus Aldridge. Lillard gets hot from the perimeter and takes over the series. It could be a long series.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Yeah. Who stays in front? If Mike is hobbled and Tony's hobbled, who stays in front of Damian Lillard?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough challenge. And this is why, with all the preaching about the seeding and the right team to play, I subscribe to the Marc Gasol gospel because this team ultimately has to play better. They have to play better collectively because they don't have that one guy that can take over a game or a series. So that's what's most important because it doesn't matter who they play. If the Grizzlies don't get it together for a consistent period of time, they're going to be in trouble.
Well, explain then to me what happened in the... Mark talks about playing the right way.
Sure.
He says he takes what's available. He doesn't like it when people say he should be more aggressive. And what we saw in the last game was the Mark that you want to see. What happens that gets him to causes him to have games of 33 points or 32 points some days and to sort of virtually kind of disappear other days?
Yeah, Mark is like a building with no doors. You walk around it and you just don't know how to get in. You cannot possibly understand what's going on with Marc Gasol. Right. I've been around Marc Gasol since he was a rookie. I've been around Pau Gasol. I've been around a Gasol since we got here.
Since we started.
Since we landed.
First draft night when he's picked with the Atlanta pick.
Gasol landed on Memphis. So it's impossible to know. But we do know that he likes playing the right way, which means everybody moving, passing the basketball, trusting each other on defense, sharing the basketball on offense. And I just think he had said so much leading up to that game about, what the team wasn't doing that I thought it was fascinating that in the huddle, in the tunnel, when they come out, it was the first time all season that he said what he said. He had never led the tunnel conversation. And then he went out and backed it up.
Right.
So I just think he just, for whatever reason decided,
just took upon himself.
I'm going to own this game. Okay. And if we win or lose tonight, it's going to be on me.
So walk around those doors a little bit.
There's no door. It's the building.
Which one's going to show up against Portland?
I don't know. I think what they're counting on is, again, going back to what we said originally, is them playing better collectively. Right. Because you're going to get Mike back, who is the floor general, the orchestrator of everything. Let's face it, Benno has done great as a starter. But Benno gets to his spot and he shoots.
Right.
Mike Conley runs stuff.
Right.
And that's what they're counting on. They're counting on Tony being the hype man and disrupting things. So I think they're just counting on them collectively coming together and playing like they played in the first half of the season. I really think that's what they're counting on.
Can Dave Yeager keep running Vince Carter out there as badly as he's played and as well as we saw Jordan Adams play?
This is going to sound harsher than it's intended to, but I think Dave Yeager risks losing credibility the more he trots out Vince Carter because Vince is a high IQ basketball player and a good guy. But he's not helping this ball club. And if you keep trotting him out there and he keeps going 0 for 6 and 0 for 4 from 3, then I think the other guys are looking like, why is he playing?
Right.
So I think that's going to be, one of the major things that Dave's going to have to manage in the playoffs is how much rope do you give Vince Carter? You can't just say he has license to shoot because not only is he not shooting the ball well, but he's turning it over.
Right.
So he's not helping you.
All right.
He's got to help.
Give me a pick.
I think the Grizzlies ultimately win this series. I think it's going to be longer than people think.
Right.
So I'm going to say Grizzlies in 6.
I'll say the same thing. I don't buy this. It's going to be a walkover.
No.
Not from what I've seen from the Grizzlies since the All-Star break.
The idea that just because the Grizzlies are healthier, in theory,
Right.
makes it an easy series, that's just not the case.
All right, we'll check back in. Thanks for listening.